On one hand, we join his family, wife, Comrade Dimpo, and daughter Lindy, to share their pain, which we know is much more deeper than we can understand. They were robbed of their husband, father, brother, and a breadwinner. The Hani family is acutely aware that millions of South Africans and other admirers of Chris Hani throughout the world share their pain. In a way, their pain is our pain. On the other hand, we are returning here to once again make a proclamation that we will not allow Chris Hani to die. Through his profound exemplary leadership, he continues to inspire new generations of cadres. As we return to this sacred place where his mortal remains are buried, we recall that this month we also commemorate in our movement what we refer to as our heroes. It is the Heroes Month. We recall that one of the bravest sons of our people, Solomon Mahlangu, was hanged on the 6th of April in 1979. His last words as he was about to be hanged remain an epitome of the best traditions of our movement. This is what he said: "My blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruit of freedom. Tell my people I love them. They must continue the fight." We remember countless other cadres who defied death, joined the People's Army Umkhonto Wesizwe, and took up arms against the evil deeds which the apartheid committed against our people. We remember We remember today, and throughout this month we will remember the engine of our struggle for more than 3 decades, the phenomenon statesman who through all seasons tirelessly campaigned across the globe and represented our silent voices. We are speaking about Comrade O.R. Tambo, who too should never be allowed to die. Today, standing not far away from where he is being buried, we recall his undying words that should remain our vision of a society we seek to build. We quote him: "We have a vision of South Africa in which black and white shall live and work together as equals in conditions of peace and prosperity." End of quote. We return to his grave today at a time when our movement is grappling with many challenges. Those challenges, if not attended to, threaten to destroy its very foundations. Chris Hani lived only the finest traditions of our movement. The most celebrated example is the Hani Memorandum, which he wrote on behalf of comrades in exile who were frustrated by a seemingly lack of urgency to step up military offensive. He denounced the then leadership's lack of accountability, draconian discipline, nepotism, corruption and favoritism, which he believed should have destroyed the movement. Chris Hani was the most loyal and active cadre, who was also an independent thinker, who analyzed the debates and debated problems and never shied away from controversy. He castigated most senior cadres who either ignored problems or were themselves implicated. For this, he was even imprisoned for a time by his own leaders. Much of the statement is highly and still highly relevant today. While he may mainly have been involved in the military arena, he also used his legal knowledge he acquired as a law student to speak on behalf of those who were in the trenches with him, and his political knowledge to help formulate strategy and tactics. In that memorandum, Chris Hani, in practice, reinforced what Mao Zedong addressed to the Chinese Communist Party on the 7th of September in 1937, when he said, I'm going to quote just few paragraphs because the quote itself is long, and those that have access to this speech, I wish that they could read the entirety of that address by Mao Zedong. This is what he said: we stand for an active ideological struggle because it is the weapon for ensuring unity within the party and the revolutionary organizations in the interest of our fight. Every communist and revolutionary should take up as the weapon the ideological struggle. But liberalism rejects ideological struggle and stands for unprincipled peace, but thus giving rise to a decadent, to Philistine attitude and bringing about political degeneration in certain units and individuals in the party and the liberation organization. And he then went on to quote 11 examples of what he called liberalism, which are very, very important lessons for all of us today. Chris Hani always and will always be remembered by both his former comrades and a new generation of South Africans as a unique example of bold revolutionary leader who embodied the greatest tradition of our liberation and socialist movement: selflessness, dedication, discipline, hard work, loyalty to the cause, and a total commitment to the service of the people. He led the joint MK Zebra forces in the 1967 Wangi campaign in what was then the Northern Rhodesia. He was only the first member of the ANC's National Executive Committee to enter South Africa from exile and get involved in the military resistance. Inevitably, he became a key target of the apartheid state and survived several assassination attempts. On his return to South Africa, he inspired millions to join the liberation movement through his dazzling oratory at countless rallies. He had an ability to sum up exactly what his working class and poor audiences were thinking and draw them into the struggle. Chris Hani's life epitomized the principle of selflessness. He was prepared to sacrifice all for what he believed in. At the time when many leaders were seeking jobs and polishing their shoes for ministers' jobs and other senior officials in the government which will pay better, Chris Hani took on a lowly paid but politically crucial position as the General Secretary of the SACP. We have made tremendous strides in building a better life for all South Africans. Basic services have been rolled out to millions of the poor South Africans. The ANC government has invested millions of rands to improve the quality of health care, access to running water, sanitation, electricity, roads, housing, and other necessities, so that our children, especially the black majority, can have a better future than their parents and grandparents. On the other hand, we still have a long way before we can look at the ANC Morogoro strategy and tactic document and say we have attained full liberation. We have recently, all of us, recognized the fact that our liberation is more limited to political freedom, while economically, the ruling class remain the same as during the colonial and apartheid era. That is why we have passed resolutions calling for a second phase of a radical economic transformation. The apartheid wage structure has not fundamentally changed, and the racial differences have remained too. Most black workers, particularly in the private sector, continue to live in poverty, not only in the most vulnerable sectors, but amongst the blue-collar workers themselves. This is the new struggle we're committing ourselves to. As we gather in this grave, we are not doing this just as a fashion. This is a new way of dedicating ourselves to the struggles that Comrade Chris Hani lived and died for, and we will continue to do just that. Thank you very much.